We're live! You can see in the corner there. Ta-da! And of course, my dog barks the minute that we hit go.
That's all right.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to another episode of Why Are We Like This? You'll notice that Brittany's voice has changed to a man's. So,
Got a little deeper.
yeah. Unfortunately, she's not feeling well today, so it's just me and my very good friend, my special guest, Mike, aka the Foul Viking. Hello, friend. How's it going?
Wee. It's going pretty good.
Hooray.
How are you doing on this fine Sunday?
I'm doing great. It's been a busy morning. I filmed like 27 TikToks and took a shower, and here I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mine's been busy, but no TikToks. More of like making breakfast, changing and feeding a baby, and doing married family shit.
Yeah, I don't have one of those baby things. Your son's what, 2 now? He's 2.
2.5, we'll say. Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah.
It'll really be 2.5 on the 24th, but we can round up a little bit.
Aw, he's so cute.
He is. He's perfect.
He is perfect. Is like being a dad like the coolest thing ever? Is it like what you thought it would be?
It's more. Like I wish this on every man in the world, because it's either going to make or break them, and it makes me want to do better, be better.
I was gonna say, hopefully it makes everybody.
Yeah. So if you can't have kids, sucks to be you. I mean, all due respect, I guess.
Right.
But no, I think all men should have a son. It's part of, like, you grow up, you hit 16, you get a car, you become a man, get a job, get married, become a father. Like, fatherhood, I think, should be a big part of men's lives.
That's cool. I don't know if we're ever going to have children. I don't think so, but I'm just going to steal my friends and give them back later.
Well, you can do that, and just know you can put Everett, as your beneficiary on everything. So, like, if you and Jake just so happen to have a horrible accident, knock on wood.
Oh no!
I don't want you to. But
knock on everything.
You can't leave all of your stuff to your dogs.
Yes, I can. They will take good care of it.
All right. Well, I guess leave Everett your dogs too, then.
Yeah, he has to take my dogs and all of our stuff. That's so cool.
I don't know about all that TikTok stuff.
Well, that's okay. That can go to wayside if I'm dead. Yeah, I still can't believe that you guys even have a kid. It's weird.
Yeah, me neither. It's crazy.
It's weird. I'm hoping another one of our friends has one soon, so I can play with them too.
Well, one of them does have a daughter, right? I don't want to put names out there.
Yeah, but they're they don't live in the same town as me.
Oh, okay. But yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna have children. Who knows? The world is a open place.
I don't know. I'll have to have a talk with Jake and get his honest opinion.
He's probably gonna have the same as mine. We talked about it a little bit, but I don't have like that maternal instinct. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like I could be satisfied and happy if I didn't have children.
I mean, that could be true, and it's definitely a possibility. But I think there's a little bit of fear there as well. And
there's a ton. Yeah, absolutely.
But like I said, if I talk to Jake, I mean, guys usually tend to open up a little more when their girlfriends / wives aren't around.
I think he opens up the most when I am around. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, he might be a little more vulnerable, but he's going to be like, oh, yeah, no, we definitely, if it happens, it happens. Whatever you want, babe.
No, he has told me that he's not sure he wants to be a dad, so I don't think he's just saying what I say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was really scared at first, and then I had only been sober for uh, I can't remember, a couple of months before Sarah got pregnant. So
Oh,
we had a conversation a month or two ago where I was like, I think I just said, yeah, let's have a kid because I thought it would be better for
yeah.
fixing or, mending our relationship. But,
Mm-hmm.
once she got pregnant and it became so real, it's like, that's where I was like, I need to do more in my sobriety. I need to do more in my marriage. I need to do more at my job/career.
Yeah.
And then I told my mom, like I was completely numb about it, but I told my mom and I started crying like a little bitch when I told my mom.
Oh,
Fuck, she even punched me like, boy, stop it. You know you're gonna be a good dad. You've always wanted kids.
yeah.
But I think it was me being new to sobriety that was the most scariest. Like people already, you know, judgment, people thinking I'm gonna fail, shit like that.
Sure. And I'm sure that there were times where like both of you thought you were gonna fail too. Like I'm gonna be a shitty dad or a shitty mom. Or I think everybody thinks that though. You know,
Yeah.
'cause
But no,
there's no type of handbook.
yeah, there isn't. I mean, there are books, but like that shit, like you learn on the fly. And Everett was a real easy baby. Sarah, I think, had a great pregnancy. Her uh, emergency C-section, everything. I think it went very well. Like boom,
Yeah.
in, out, done. You know. But yeah, it was great all in all, and it's one of the best things that ever happened to me was having a son.
Yeah. It's so cute to see you guys as parents. Um, so your wife said you were only sober 4 months when you agreed to try for a baby. So
Oh, okay. Thanks, babe.
yeah, fact checker, real
Memories.
time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Man. I
It's like
will
the
say
debate,
now
right?
that I have what?
No, I was just saying like the debate, but we're not there
Oh,
yet.
now that I have time to tell you this face to face, because every time I feel like there's always a bunch of stuff going on. I do want to say I knew you for a while before Sarah came into the picture, and
Yes, ma'am.
like to see how much of a different person you are now. I hope that you're like super proud of yourself because you've completely changed and done so much growth and so much work, and you're such a different person. Not that you were a shitty person, but like
Yeah, my priorities weren't straight.
yeah, and it's just we all obviously make mistakes and everything, but the way that you have just like stuck to it and really truly came out on the other side is super super cool. So I hope that you're proud of yourself for that.
I am, and I appreciate that, and I love hearing that because I think more people see it than I see it, and I'm my
Yeah.
biggest critic, and I'm always harder on myself than I am on anybody else. And that being said, I'm usually pretty hard on people, so just imagine that.
Yeah. It's very it's cool to see somebody just be like he completely changed his life and is a because a lot of times it's like, well, I tried, I didn't do it, or I'm like I've had issues along the way, but it's been just like flatline, zero problems or I guess relapses, if you will. But
Yeah, yeah. Like when I was in rehab, the first time I actually got comfortable and opened up to like talk in front of the group, I was like, I listened to you guys telling all your stories and how this is your third, fourth time and doing this shit, but I got
yeah,
one in me. I ain't doing this again. I'm sticking with it, and it showed my willpower. So I knew what I wanted. I fought for it. I got it. I'm gonna keep it.
yeah.
And I
I
feel
hope
like I've only been an adult for the last 3 years, but before getting
yeah,
sober, I didn't give a shit about nothing else. The only thing I really planned out was, making sure I had, a drink.
right.
But
I hope you take
now
like oh go ahead.
now I was going to say, now the world is my oyster.
I hope you take maybe do like a episode about your sobriety or like your story about that. I think that'd really be cool for people.
Always. I'm always down to talk about sobriety, recovery.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if Sarah told you, but I did the certification to be a peer specialist in the sobriety community. But
Oh, I don't know
at
if she. I
at the
think she did.
time, I was still, I was still not 100% myself, and then I got a decent promotion at work, so it was like, I kind of just fell back on that for now, I guess. And
Yeah.
I actually think I have until April to finish going through with that before I have to take the certification again. But yeah, it talks about recovery and like not just addiction, recovery from everything,
Right.
relationships, trauma, recovery, all types of stuff. Recovery is
Yeah.
all things.
Well, that's cool. Well, congratulations. I'm so glad you guys have a son. I want to take him to the pumpkin patch and we're going to pick apples
Okay.
after we pick pumpkins.
Whenever you want to.
All right, great.
The real question is, do I have to be there?
No,
Okay, sweet.
no. If you guys trust me to babysit, we'll take him to the pumpkin patch.
Oh hell, I was thinking Sarah'd go with you, and I'd have a.
Oh, hey, we can have a girls' day with your son. That'd be cute. Yeah. Girls' day and a little boy.
Yeah.
That'd be cute. Well, if you want, let's deep dive or kind of dive or swim into what is known as the presidential debate of the second time with different people.
Okay. The first second debate.
Yeah, the first second debate. Oh, he wants to go to Pumpkin Patch so bad, she said. Well, let's pick a day and let's go. Let's go. Just not October 5th, but at the end of the day is good. So fun. So obviously we have two. I'm gonna open this door. Two
Oh shit.
presidential candidates, Donald Trumpers, and is it actually like Kamala or Kamala? Does anybody know?
I believe the more practical term is Kamala Harris, but then when you listen to someone with the same ethnicity, they say Kumala. Like Ramaswamy, every time he talks about her, he says it in their native tongue, which is
Yeah.
Kumala.
Oh,
But everyone says Kamala.
if I lived in Missouri, I think it's Kamala.
Yeah, yeah.
I always think of Kamala olives. I can't say that, but Kalamala olives. Anyway,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So I watched the debate twice for some dumb reason. I guess I want to start with, first of all, I want to say off the top of the head, I don't know a lot about politics. I am not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of times I just like to stick my head in the sand because that's easier. But I will also say that I am not voting for Kamala just because she's a woman. I'm like pro girl, hey, maybe first woman president, but I'm also not just like any woman that shows up, I'm going to vote for you. So just want to put that out there because that's a lot of people's like, well, just because she's a girl. No, wrong. But anyway, so
Okay.
that's just my,
Well,
my little disclaimer before we talk about
so
it.
you are voting for Kamala, though. Is that what I
Oh,
just
yeah.
heard?
If I have a
Okay.
choice between these two, yes.
Okay. And then, I used to have my head in the sand or in the clouds or in a haze, and
Wherever it goes.
yeah, wherever it was, right?
Yeah.
But I was more Democratic growing up. My mom, my family, neighborhood, all that.
Yeah.
But I've only voted now that I was thinking about it was Barack Obama's first term back in the day. I think that was what 2008, maybe something
Yeah.
like that. Uh, so I was not that I was a participant, but I was a Democrat, And then I started getting more into politics after getting sober, having my son, thinking more of the future. And then I started watching, I stumbled across Officer Tatum and the Black Conservative Perspective, which are like two other YouTube channels.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even political at first, but I was just watching them. They're conservative, and like I was agreeing and like just kind of feeling some of the things they were saying. And they were talking about Ramaswamy. So, then I started looking into him and liked where he was going. And like if he was still in the race, he'd have my vote 100%. But, when he kind of dropped out and all that stuff happened where Trump's now the candidate, I don't like Trump 100%, but right now I'm voting more for the party than for the candidate, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think there's a big majority of people that do that.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily a good thing. But
I will say that I do think Donald Trump is a lot better than Harris, but would he be my number one pick? Probably not. Yeah. But he's got my vote.
I've only voted one time. We kind of talked about this a little bit before we started. I've only voted once, and it was for Democratic. But I always felt like I didn't know enough to vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like this guy's name starts with a J. It's like I didn't feel like I could educate myself enough to vote. And maybe that's kind of a dumb outlook, but I don't know, for something as important as that. But then people are like, well, don't not vote. Like, that's even worse. So I don't know if there's if it's better to not vote, or if you don't care about politics, just vote for who, I guess, do a little bit of research and vote for whatever view you think is better.
Yeah. I used to say all the time, like, I could talk politics and I could talk that, but I never voted and I really didn't care after like that first Barack term. Mm-hmm. So I felt that, I wasn't in a tax bracket that really was affected by anything. So I didn't care. I would talk points and like, wouldn't really get into it. But now I've kind of educated myself on, certain things because like I want to look towards the future. Like this election is going to be the election of a lifetime until the next one, right? So I'm kind of looking towards the future. Like I think if Trump and JD Vance get in the office now, depending on how JD Vance is, well, hopefully that leads to, him and Ramaswamy running on the ticket next election to where, he's vice president or something. Because I'm hoping to see Ramaswamy in office in next couple terms, hopefully.
Yeah,
I definitely think he's the change that the Republicans or conservative party actually needs.
Yeah. I'm not a JD Vance fan. I think he runs his mouth a lot, and I think Trump doesn't even know what he's saying half the time to people. Like I felt like in the debate they would ask him questions and about, JD Vance, and he's like, "Oh, I never heard him say that. I didn't know he said that." It's like, well, isn't this dude supposed to be your running mate? Like, I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect there, but I also feel like, I don't know, JD Vance just kind of runs his mouth a lot about things that aren't necessarily true. Like I think he's already come out and said that the whole Springfield thing that he was talking about was a lie. Like saying if I have to make up stories, I'm gonna, because you people are letting the Democrats get away with murder or something like that. I'm just not a fan.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and I don't know. I didn't know too much about him at all until he was chosen to be on his ticket. But I know that him and Trump didn't get along. During his last term. But I also see that, like, JD Vance is also, I like to say, a new age conservative. And him and Ramaswamy, like they went to school together. They know each other, all types of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that style is like he's he's working with Trump, even though he disagreed with him. But now they're coming together, and I think it's going to be a good change.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want
And
a
also not
president.
having someone who's like 80 years old, right?
Well,
Gets
close.
JD Vance isn't.
Oh, no, no, no. Yeah.
You know, he's under
He's
he's
not
under.
ugly either. He's kind of cute, but he's kind of a douche, so I'm not really into that. But
All
anyway,
right, there you go. Vote for the attractive guy.
that should be my new technique?
Yeah,
Just vote
like
for the hot
vote
guy?
for the girl or vote for the hot guy.
Yeah. Ta-da.
Come on.
Done. Which one's cuter? Yeah. I've never liked Trump. I think I can't believe that people are complaining about Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala, but the guy that is running for president was the host of a reality show. I don't really understand the hatred for that. Like, she's allowed to have her opinion just like any other person is. And now he's coming out being like, Taylor Swift sucks. And it just feels like it's turning into, well, not turning, has turned into just a big like name calling brigade of people. Anytime he's put into a corner, I just feel like he goes like he does like an uppercut of just like name calling and just spitting out stuff that there's no facts around. And that is what gets me. I feel like he's more out for himself rather than really caring about the American people, because when it seems like when he's put into a corner, he doesn't know how to process it. So he's just like, well, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Or, I don't know what you're talking about. I never heard that thing. And it's like, come on, man. Yes, you do. Like, anyway.
Okay, you might be right on some of that, right? But
I don't know.
let me start with the Taylor Swift thing. Like, to me, it seems a little funny that after the debate, Kamala didn't do as good as everyone wanted or hoped for. So, what do they have in their back pocket? They got, okay, let's finally have Taylor come out and endorse Kamala, and we can maybe get those Swifties and all that buzz around now she's on paper endorsing Kamala Harris. It's all a fucking ploy, right? They're doing that to try to save, something since she just had a little failure. So now they got Taylor Swift coming out thinking it's going to change the tide in the votes. And a couple of months ago, I was watching something about in Paris. They were having last election they had in Paris. Taylor Swift had a show there. And the prime minister said, we need to figure out how to get Taylor Swift to endorse our candidate at her concert to urge those people to go out and vote for their candidate. It's the same thing. And once celebrities come out and endorse somebody, the name calling starts. The people start shifting sides, and now we have to undercut Taylor Swift or try to drag her through the mud to make who she's endorsing look irrelevant.
Yeah.
And it's all a chess move, right? And Donald Trump, I'm not going to say he's 100% honest, but he hasn't told as many lies as Kamala Harris has, or Joe Biden, or anything like that. I mean, is he full of shit sometimes? Yeah, they all are. But I believe that Donald Trump is more for all Americans, and I think the Democrats are more for certain categories of Americans. And I think a lot of people feel that way.
See, after I watched it, I thought Kamala Harris did way better than him. Maybe that's just because I like her better.
Exactly. And see, that's crazy because I thought Donald Trump, I wouldn't say he won, and I don't think he did that good, but I don't think she did good enough. Like, it was very, very scripted. A lot of the same shit she's been saying, except for a couple different policies that she's trying to throw in there. And you could just tell it was so scripted and rehearsed that I thought a couple of times she waited for some cheap pops and there wasn't even an audience. Like
Yeah, they didn't even have an audience, so it's weird.
And it's like she'd stop and look around like, oh, wait, yeah, they can't get it. They're not here.
Anybody?
Yeah, yeah. Is this thing on?
Something on?
This thing
Yeah.
on? Moderators, save me. Right.
I one of the biggest things that I disagree with Donald Trump on, and this is probably one of my top reasons why I will not vote for him, is that he wants teachers to carry guns. And that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire 33 years on the earth, almost. So I wholeheartedly do not want guns to be taken away from human beings. But I also wholeheartedly think that we need some type of universal gun control in this country. I don't understand the argument for that. I will never understand it. But the fact that he wants teachers to carry guns, not all teachers, they're going to be trained, they're going to be whatever, is absolutely mind-blowing to me. And that's one of the reasons why I am just like, no, I don't want that for you. No. No.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that's a good thing to be to have a stand on. Uh, I personally think that if he made it to where they could choose to carry, maybe would that make you feel better? Like
No.
not all teachers, but if you as a teacher really care for your children and are really concerned that someone might come in here and do something drastic with enough background checks, I'm talking full, like we need to bring out doctors' mental health records also in the gun
Yeah.
thing, and that's something I think
Yes.
because I'm for guns, for the Second Amendment. But yes, I will tell a doctor that if I'm trying to get a gun, yes, I do take anxiety meds. I have had anxiety, I still do, but it's a cause of my alcoholism, right? So, and I'd go full into that and give them everything if I really wanted that. And if they deemed that that was unnecessary, then I wouldn't be able to purchase said firearm. But I think with enough training, enough screening, you will find some teachers, men and women, that would carry that gun to protect those kids. And I know that it's kind of scary, especially when you see someone with a gun. So maybe some sort of concealment with easy access, all of that. So the guns just aren't out in the open. No one knows who has them, just the ones that want to do it. And I think it could be implemented and work well, even as a deterrent. Because I went to super hood schools back in my day. We had metal detectors, we had an armed security guard. It's a little intimidating. I remember one day at Rothman, there was a customer walking around and he had a big ass snub nose 357 revolver on his hip. And I remember, I can't remember if it was Lisa or Linda, but they were like upset about it. So, like it made them feel some type of way, like timid or nervous.
Yeah.
And I can understand people having that feeling, but yeah, I think if I would allow it, I'd vote for it if it was on a ticket, especially if it was a school my son was going to. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't want any more guns in a place that already shouldn't have any. I think we need to get to the root of the problem and not add to the problem. I think just giving any qualified teacher, whatever you want to say, a gun to protect is not getting to the heart of the issue. I think it's just kind of putting a band-aid on it.
What is the heart of the issue?
The amount of people that are dying from guns in our country. That's the heart of the issue. We have more school shootings than any other people in the world. We just had one in, I cannot remember this place. Anyway, we just had one.
Atlanta. There was one in Atlanta,
Yes.
and then after the one in Atlanta, another kid got killed at a different school, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that is horrible. That is horrible. But then 2 days later, a guy went crazy on the highway and shot a bunch of people, like in their cars. I don't remember how many died or if any died, but I know they were looking for him for days. They did find him though.
Yeah.
But see, yeah, people dying from gun violence, like that's not the root cause. Like what the heart of the problem is people. People are inherently evil, born sinners, right? Like you can take the guns away, but like in the UK, you take the guns away, stabbings are up 100-fold. You take the knives away, chemical burns. People are walking around with bottles of chemicals and splashing people and doing all that. Brass knuckles. Like for you to ban guns, not even ban, but like get rid of guns. It's just that's never going to happen. You know,
Well,
with this.
I don't think we should completely get rid of guns. I mean, I don't want to take anyone's guns who have one. And I don't want people to think that they can't use them for protection. But I think that we need some type of control. I don't think a human being should have an assault rifle. What do you need this for?
To look like a badass. No, that's a
So I
joke.
can
But
get
like,
my Whoppers for free. No,
yeah,
I
the whole implement of like the right to bear arms and all that stuff. It's against terrorist tyranny, oppression from foreign and domestic, right? So if something were to happen and the government was like, all right, we're shutting everything down, we're taking this bitch over, and they come out with their assault rifles, we should be able to have something similar. Because believe me, the weapons of war that are on the streets, most of them aren't weapons of war. You have to like modify them and do all that stuff. So it's like they try to do things like that. In California, I think a magazine can only have 6, 8 rounds. Uh, gun laws are really strict in New York. So I mean, there are some things that can be implemented, but
I
people got to
I
vote
think
on
we
them.
need to do something instead of nothing.
But what can we do? That's the thing. What something should we do?
I don't feel like we're doing anything. I think if you are 18 and younger, and if you're trying to get a gun, well, I guess you can't.
At 18, you can get a rifle.
If I think if you are trying to get, I don't even know if it should be all guns or an assault or um, a weapon of war, quote unquote. You should have some sort of. There's got to be some kind of mental health check because it's all connected. But there's also evidence that people that have mental health issues are not as violent as people that don't. So I think it's like full circle. There needs to be a complete circle of there needs to be mental health, some type of gun control. I'm not saying take away the guns or whatever. But I don't think an assault style weapon needs to be in the hands of regular people. And I also think that if you are associated with someone, because they say over 60% of people that commit a school shooting or any kind of shooting, mass shooting really, tell somebody about it. So I think if you are found that you were told about a mass shooting and you didn't do anything, you should be prosecuted. I think your social media should be checked if you want to purchase an assault weapon, because 80% of these people have some kind of social media that gives signs of some type of shooting. So if you want to purchase like an assault weapon, there should be clear and precise things that you have to check mark to get that weapon. And the fact that the majority, not all, and it's not going to fix all shootings. There, I'm not saying that if we do this, there's going to be 0 shootings ever again, because people are people.
Yeah, it's not going to change the number of gun violence. It's not.
Oh, it's got to change some number of gun violence. If you have some kind of protocol to get a gun, it's got to change it a little bit.
Possibly. I'll possibly.
I mean, if there are no more assault weapons, or if it's a lot harder for a 18-year-old who got bullied to go shoot up his school, it may not happen as often. But let's say we try it for a year and it doesn't work. At least we're trying something. We're not doing anything. One of the reasons I left education is because I was afraid I was going to get shot.
Yeah, yeah. And your school wasn't in a good neighborhood either, was it?
No, we had that school shooting at DVPA that was 2 miles down the street.
Yeah, yeah.
So I I don't understand the idea of not doing anything and not trying to minimize the gun violence problem in this country. I know it's the Second Amendment. I get it. I don't want to come for your guns if you've already got them. But I think we need to make it a little bit harder to get assault weapons for people. That's it. I don't think that's like so much to infringe on your rights. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
I don't understand that we love our guns more than we want to see gun violence decrease. Just a little. If there's five less school shootings, isn't that a good thing? Rather than like I don't understand. If you're found that you were told about a school shooting and you did nothing, you should be prosecuted. Your social media should be looked at. If there's any pictures of guns or threats or anything, absolutely not. Are you taking any medication? Whatever else that needs to be checked, you should have your parents there. They should be that shooter that just happened in Atlanta. His parents are in jail. It's a giant web of crap, and we could do certain things to try and prevent it. It may or may not work. I don't know. I'm not in Congress. But we got to do something. I mean, other countries are laughing in our face. We're just like, we're sending our children into a school not knowing if they're going to come out. And that's crazy. This should be the safest place that a kid could go besides their house. But for a lot of kids, this is not. This is the safest place. A lot of kids don't have food, some kids are homeless. A lot of kids are in, they don't have, this is their most stable building that they go to. And now we're going to have people with more guns, more police. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm nuts.
With guns, man, it's crazy. I have a true story here. My mid to late 20s, I went to go purchase my first firearm, and never had a record. I've done a couple hours in a drunk take here and there, but not a felon, no violent charges, anything like that. And I went to buy a pistol, and buying it from a pawn shop / gun store. Put your money in, you give them your ID, they run your name. My buddy was also with me, and he was buying a gun. Within 20 minutes, his check came back, and he purchased his gun. I waited for an hour, and they said, "Oh, we still haven't got it back. Maybe check with us tomorrow or something." Okay. Called back the next day. Still haven't got it back. Called back the day after that. "Sir, we're sorry, you were flagged. Can't sell you the gun, blah, 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 blah." Had to go get my money back. Come to find out, someone had used my name. And apparently, like, almost got out of jail. It was someone I knew. Their name just so happened to be Mike as well. And he knew my birthday, but he didn't know my social security number.
Yikes.
And I remember that, I got picked up one night. I was drunk, and they couldn't tell if it was me or if it was him because he used my name. So I had to file charges or press charges, write a statement, do all of that, which I did. And got it taken out of the system. But the gun check still picked that up and flagged me to where I could not purchase that gun. So, I mean, I don't know if that's, helping anything, but it does show that there is some sort of, process that does go on. And then we got to talk about the people like Sexy Red, the rapper. She says in one of her songs how chicks be buying guns and just giving them to they baby daddies or they dudes, right? So the system's always going to be manipulated. People,
Yeah,
if
I mean,
they want a gun, they're gonna be able to get one. It's just, is it going to cost $200 or $1,000?
right. And people are going to get it. If they really, really wanted one, people are going to get one. But I I don't know. I don't understand the idea of not doing anything about all these school shootings.
Yeah,
I don't I don't think giving more guns to teachers is the answer. I don't
it's
know.
probably not the best answer, but it is a step in one way of preventing more kids from being killed, or deterring. Like, what if no teachers choose to carry guns? Like, they can't force them to carry guns. If they really wanted that, they'd have cops, or at least a patrol officer there. But what if they just passed the bill and no one chose to carry, and it just deterred? Like,
I feel like if metal detectors and armed guards are not deterring people, I don't know if that's going to make much of a difference.
yeah.
But I don't know. It's unsettling to me, and I'm trying to think back to when I was a teacher and like asking teach. I know the people that would do it would be volunteered to do it; they wouldn't be forced. But I think putting that in a teacher's hands is very, very. It's asking a lot of a teacher who is not here to shoot someone. I mean, that I have. I would never do it, but if my teacher mate down the hall is the one with the gun, I just can't imagine a teacher. Well, I'm sure there's some out there that would do it, but that's just asking a lot of a person that already wears so many hats. And now you're asking me to kill somebody that comes in our school because we don't have it's a lot. It's a lot, and I don't think it's a good thing.
See, you're looking at it as like half full, half empty, right? So it's like, to shoot and kill. You're asking a teacher to kill someone. You're also asking a teacher to protect, right? Which, like you said, the school should be the safest place. But
So
now,
how do
with
we
that with that being said, if Donald Trump did all of that with the gun laws, would you vote for him?
all of what?
If he did something, the extra screening helped prevent it, if he tried,
No. No.
okay. So if he tried, because you said that was one of your big things, so I'm trying to
That
see
is one of the big
if
things, yes.
if Trump
But
would get one or two of your big things taken care of, would you vote for him?
no.
No. Okay.
I yeah, that is one of my big things with him, but I also am not I just don't trust what he says. But I don't trust a lot of politicians, but I don't trust what he says. I don't think everything's a world record, right? We've had the best economy
Huge.
no one's ever known.
Huge.
Huge. Everything's giant.
Really big. It's really, really
Every
big.
yeah, they didn't say anything like this ever before. Like, come on, dude. Stop. It's the same. I feel like he just presses repeat and just says the same stuff. Like, I'm sick of everything being a world record. I'm sick of him saying he lost the election or he actually won the election. I'm sick of him saying he didn't do anything to encourage people to march the Capitol. I'm sick of we had the best economy that the world's ever seen, blah, 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 blah. He has no plan for healthcare. He keeps saying he has a kind of a plan. I'm not here for it. I need fresh faces. I need someone new. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I say give us Trump again, because like some of those things that you say are lies aren't lies. And like, give us Trump again. Let's get everything back, and then we'll have some fresh faces, right? That's what we need. Trump needs to come in, give us, give us what we had back when he was in office, and then we hit the reset button. We go new from there.
I feel like he wants to be more of a dictator and not a president.
Dictator? Why? What makes you think a dictator? You think he wants to be a dictator? Can anybody be a dictator over the American people? And what would make him a dictator?
I feel like he wants to be. I'm not saying he's gonna be.
Oh,
I feel like he wishes he could be. I think he thrives on having little minions that are wearing it's like a concert. They're all decked out in merch. Like, they're just, no matter what he says or what he does, it is like Trumpville. And he thrives on these people. And I think that's part of the reason why we had January 6th happen, because he's trumping it up on Twitter or whatever his social media is called, Trump tweets, or I don't know.
Truth media.
Yeah, that's it. And
what, you don't be on Truth? Hit me up. I'll be on Truth.
What even is that? Who's on that besides him? That's what I want to know.
A lot of people.
But
no, we're definitely, when Trump wins, we're gonna have another January 6th. It's just gonna be a bunch of fucking blue-haired fucking people, and never mind.
I don't think he cares about rights of all Americans. I think he has his certain little people that he wants to have rights, but truly, I don't think he cares about the rights of everybody. I think everything to him is the best it's ever gonna be with him, and that's not the case. It's not true. It's not true. I don't like how he handled the pandemic.
Right. He didn't handle the pandemic well. I wouldn't say he completely dropped the ball on it. Like, that just came out of nowhere. But
well, yeah, yes.
I don't know.
Just say what you want to say. There's no rules here. I'm not gonna hate you after this.
No, I know it's not that. I'm just like, I don't know. In my opinion, like, when you say rights, like, what rights is he going to take away? What rights don't, like, are we moving on to like abortion, or you want to jump into, like, is that what you're talking about? Like women's rights, LGBTQRS,
all of that, transgender, LGBTQ, abortion. I don't think he truly grasps what Roe v. Wade has done for women and different situations. And I think he thinks that he did a good thing by selecting those Supreme Court justices to overturn Roe v. Wade. I think he thinks they did a good thing, because in the debate he was like, well, we did what everybody wanted us to do. We headed to the state or whatever. The state can vote on it. But that's not what most women want.
They wanted it at first, but then they realized once it went into the hands of the state, it still was going to be hard. Like, if it's abortion is like, that's one of my things. Like, I'm not too like far right conservative when it comes to abortion, and but I think there should be like a 12-week cutoff. That's my stand on it, and I don't see the. I don't know. I don't see why it's like the biggest issue. Like, for some people, that's the biggest issue on who's going to run the country for the next 4 years. Abortion.
Well, I think there's a lot of situations that make it a big issue. I think if some women don't know that they're pregnant until 3-4 months in. And if they were, God forbid, raped, and now they have to carry that baby to term because if there's an abortion law. I think there's so many different situations with pregnant women. Every woman's body is different, and there's so many different scenarios that people can be affected by an abortion law. And I think that's why it's really, really important. Somebody may find out they're pregnant at 3 weeks, and the next other woman may find out they're not pregnant until the second trimester. It's just, So why can she get an abortion but she can't? It's kind of it's a gamble. It's you can't say that all women, not saying that you're saying this, but you can't say that all women are not able to have a baby at full term. Like, what if it's a premature baby? It's just there's so many different questions and scenarios with abortion that I feel like that's why it's one of the biggest issues.
But see, I think people push like to the extremes. Like when they're talking about abortions, they always bring up rape, incest, uh, you know, death of the mother if possible, uh, things like that. Like a lot of conservatives are okay, and a lot of Republicans are okay with those types of situations, right? Uh, if it's rape and you don't want to keep the baby or whatever, they're okay with that. Incest, definitely. Uh, but like is a woman really not going to know she's pregnant after 12 weeks or at 11 weeks, 12
Absolutely.
weeks?
Yeah. It
Like,
doesn't happen a lot, but it happens, especially
I mean,
plus size girls. Like, we're thick.
right.
Like,
Well, like I've been on a diet for almost 10 days now, and man, my shits have been different. You don't think you'd have a reason to be like, man, something's not for the past 10 weeks, man, something just I've had this fart for about 10 weeks. Like,
but I don't think if a woman shits different that their first guess is going to be I'm pregnant. If you don't have any symptoms,
when men shit different, they're like, man, something's not right.
well, that's because men are freaking weirdos. But also, some women don't have any symptoms or until a little bit further down the road.
Mm.
There's so many different scenarios with women's bodies that there's not any two pregnancies that are identical. And I think
okay.
And I think that plays a lot into abortion, because how do you prove, when I found out I was pregnant, how do you prove, the situation that happened to get the pregnancy? And women, bottom line, we should be able to do what we want with our bodies without somebody telling us we can't. Men too.
Right. But if you had to pick a time, like what would be a good cutoff?
I don't want to pick a time. I'm pro-choice.
Okay, but if it was a meet in the middle thing, gun to your head, me and you had to come up with something. I said 12 weeks.
So the second trimester.
That's what, 8
Yeah,
second
12 weeks
trimester.
is the first trimester. So after the first trimester, you're saying that's the cutoff.
Yeah. What would you say if a gun was to your head? You had to pick a cutoff.
I mean, if I had to pick a cutoff, and you're making me, yes, I would say probably 12 weeks.
Okay,
but
good. It's a good compromise.
But I don't think there should be any cutoff. But if you're making me pick one, then yes, I would say 12 weeks.
Okay, so with that being said, if Donald Trump put abortions, anyone can have an abortion at any time, whenever you want, would you vote for him?
If he did this and the gun laws?
Okay, if he did both, would you vote for him?
No.
Man, I gotta take a piss.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'll be right back.
Let's talk to the audience while you're gone. No, I would not vote for him if he did not do two of these things. I just don't like him as a person. I think when he speaks, it pisses me off. I feel like he's just like, everything is such a world record. He doesn't have any concept of being a regular middle class human. Not saying that Kamala Harris does, but if I only got these two options, like, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. I'm not her biggest fan. I'm not like humping her booty either. But if I got between these two, she would be my choice. I was not a big Joe Biden fan. I definitely I definitely lean more Democrat, but I was not a big Joe Biden fan. I think he was not competent enough to be our president. I think just like there's a minimum, there should be a maximum. If by your second term, if you're going to reach age 78 or whatever, then you should not be president.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. Sarah said, disclaimer, Mike and I do not agree on all of these things. We debate a lot of these things too. Well, it's okay. I was saying too that just like there's a minimum age, I feel like if within your two terms, if you're gonna reach a certain age, you're
yeah.
Like.
But no, you were with me while I was peeing.
Oh,
I could
great!
still hear you.
I was wondering what that noise was. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, I think the American people are tired of.
Yeah, they're tired of all crime, all the expensive shit.
Yeah.
All the, for some, but
and
that's what's going on under. That's what's going to continue to go on with Harris in office. Like I look at it as like the Democrats, they want to help certain subsets of people, not all Americans, and the Republicans want to remove obstacles for all Americans. And that's the way I think it should be, right? Like, don't do on for others, without doing for them. But, if you got candy, you got to share with the class or you can't have any,
What is it that makes you think that the Democrats are only for certain groups?
Because like when you push inner city violence, defunding the police, the LGBTQ, the migrants, like to me that's the big three right now that the Democrats are they cater to, right? Mm-hmm. So when you said something about rights, I was asking what sort of, I could understand rights for women to have an abortion, but what rights don't queer people have?
Well, I think when it comes to
don't worry, I'll wait.
I think when it comes to, I guess this isn't really a right per se, but I think I feel like and not all Republicans, but because I take bits from each party, but I feel like the Trump campaign does not respect the LGBTQ/trans community. I feel like spreading things about schools giving children gender operations without their parents' knowledge, which is completely not true. That's never happened.
I mean, you don't know for all schools and all teachers and all people. Like there could be individual teachers that find that out about their kid or one of their students and then keep it to themselves or push it or send them to the guidance counselor or something. Like we really don't know. And but we do know that like the whole woke movement and all that stuff and the queerness and the transgender stuff all kind of got lumped into the whole woke movement, right? I remember when it was just the woke movement was just for black people, right? Oh, he woke, they are an ally, all that type shit. But now all of that got jumbled into that to where when Tim Walz, man, pushing to put tampons in boys' bathrooms, to me, that's like that's like to the extreme, like something like that small. I think he knew it would rile people up and cause a big thing. And he's like, let's see if we can get him to vote for it. We're going to stir up some shit with this one, you know? Like, there's no point in doing that. If a kid that age that wants to be a boy and go into the boys' restroom, don't you think that they would have that on hand? But to say that we have to do that for our transgender trans men or boys, like the pot stirring, it's the pot stirring, the lies. It comes from the left, if not more than the right.
And I think that if you're gonna be, in support of transgender and the trans community, I don't think that is the first step that we need to take. Like, I don't think that's a hot topic that needs to be brought up. I'm not directing this at you. I'm directing this at him. Like, I don't think that's like a hot topic that people are really amped up about. So why are you even like bringing it up in the middle of a campaign? So I kind of agree with what you're saying, because I don't think that's like the number one issue that we're transgender people are facing is there a tampon in the boys' bathroom?
Right. It's just the little
So
stuff. It's the little stuff that drives people crazy. The abundance of all this little stuff, and then once you bring kids into it in general, that gets everybody in a panic. Because like that's the one thing. You start bringing people's children or kids into it, it creates a hysteria on both sides.
And I also think like we're banning books which is dumb, like dumb.
They're banning erotic fiction or sometimes erotic science fiction, right? I know that one book was supposed to be based on a true story, but I would not want my kid reading that book until they're in high school. Don't ban it, just take it out of primary and middle school.
Right. And we have the internet. Like, I don't know if anybody's aware of this,
Yeah.
but like kids can look up whatever they want whenever they want. And if that's like something that you don't teach your child how to do or not to do, then that's on you. And that also goes back to the teachers with the guns, because I feel like teachers are also afraid of, if I had to correct, gender identify some of my students, and I don't have a problem with that. But we also had a structure, like parents were involved. We had a meeting with them. Your child is transitioning, so here's their new name, here's their new pronoun. I don't have a problem with that. My view is, if you're going to be transgender, I accept you 100%. But there is also, I think, situations where sometimes we think it's just attention seeking or cool,
trendy
to do that. And I think that really hurts the community, because the people that are actually dealing with gender identity issues are not being focused on or are being not taken seriously because we have people that are doing that. So I think we really need to be careful about how we're approaching this topic, because we really do have the ability to make transgender people who have gone through the process, who are actually dealing with gender identity issues, feel welcomed and normalized, as they should. They're humans just like the rest of us. But I also think that there are people that just see it as a thing to do, and that's where parents come in. I think we're relying a lot on teachers and a lot on education, but I also think parents need to take a big responsibility and make sure that they are informing their children, researching with their child if this comes up. I'm not saying it just should be shoved in their face. So it's a lot to be an educator. And now we want guns in our face. Anyway, we're past that.
No,
but
I'm for keeping erotic books out of primary, elementary school, middle schools. Kids, once they hit high school, they're already fucking beating their meat and flicking a bing, thinking about their crush. So that's cool. I think the teachers, if a kid comes to them and says that they are going through or having a gender identity crisis, I think the parents should be informed. I
Sure.
think I think all parents are already going to know if their kid is going through that. I might not see it at first because I'm going to be super blind because to me it doesn't exist with my son, but I'm sure his mom would notice something, you know, and it also goes back to the guns. It all starts in the home,
Right.
you know. Everything starts in the home. If
Yeah.
I mean, I went through public schools. I loved them. They made me the man I am today, which is a recovering alcoholic. But I would love if I could afford to properly homeschool my son through a certain age. And like, you at those ages you can monitor what they do on their social media and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But in a perfect, or if I could afford a fucking private school with some sort of privatized education, that would be great too.
Right. Uh, yeah. I think it's hard to navigate. I know that teachers are some children's only trusted adult. Like they have not a great home life. They have divorced parents. They're homeless. I've dealt with kids that have that issue. So I think it's hard for teachers to kind of know what to do in that circumstance. If they're told, if a kid comes up to them and says, "Hey, I'm having a gender identity issue," or "I think I want to transition to a man or woman." But school districts also need to have some kind of policy and procedure for that occurrence, because I think putting all on the teacher's back is really, really difficult to navigate, because some kids only have a teacher as their only trusted adult. Unfortunately, it's a very sad case. But so yeah, I
Yeah,
yeah, I don't I and also this will probably ruffle some feathers, but I think if you are transitioning, let's say you're a man transitioning into a woman, once you have, you know, the, that is like known to everyone and you're actually going through the process, if you want to come in the like woman's restroom, I do not have a problem with that. If you want me to call you ma'am, I don't have a problem with that. I've had to change the names of students, a handful of times. And but I also think it depends on the person. Like there were some
right.
students that were like, "I'm a she, you asshole," and I'm like, "Oopsies." But then there's other kids that were like, "It's okay if you forget. Like I totally understand. It's not a big deal." So it goes both ways.
Yeah, that's where it's crazy. I've misgendered people before, and it's like, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
And I was in rehab with someone who was like that. It was, he was a dude, looked like a dude. He just super flamboyant and feminine. He wanted, he did all of his stuff with the girls, and out of respect, he wanted us to call him sis, but I was like, I ain't doing that, man. But I'll say, she and her.
Yeah. I've
To
I've
respect
always
them.
just
But
been.
I don't think that the Republicans are against. They want you to, if you want to be that, they're okay with you being that. They're not saying don't be trans or don't be gay.
No,
They're
they're not
saying
coming out and just saying that.
you could do whatever the hell you want to, but let's pump the brakes when it comes to minors. I'm not even going to say children because I think that's more triggering than minors or juveniles. Once we start saying the trans are coming after the children, okay,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's a little
not
extreme.
cool.
But if we can say some minors are easily manipulated and very what's the word I'm looking for? Eh,
Influence.
impressionable,
Yeah.
influenced, impressionable. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So did when I was in the bathroom, did I hear you say you would vote for Trump if he changed those first two things?
No.
What if he did all three right now? He gave the trans people all the rights that they may or may not have right now.
I don't like him as a person.
All politicians are shitty people, all of them. They all have some sort of god complex or some sort of
Yeah,
inferiority
but
thing.
his god complex is boner fide.
But the one thing we know is he's a businessman, and I think he's going to put America as a country first. You know, I it's not to
If he
make
does,
America great again. It's America first right now. That's the movement we need. America first.
I don't know
Then we can take care of things.
how you can say you haven't won an election from 4 years ago and then put America first by questioning our entire democracy.
I mean, it's questionable the moves that are being made right now. Like no one looks at what's going on with Trump and even Kennedy, Robert Kennedy right now, right?
Yeah.
So like when they start coming after him for these cases and start trying to come after his money, there's so many things that the Democrats and Biden and Harris have all done to implement a lot of this stuff onto him. Is he guilty of some of the stuff? Maybe, but is it worth doing what's going on and then to completely turn a blind eye on it? Like they are literally uh, going after a political opponent in at least 80% of what's going on. They're even stopping Robert Kennedy from taking his name off certain ballots to try to get less votes for Trump. So, I mean, why take Robert Kennedy to court and put him through all this stuff when he's like, hey, I'm dropping out. I wanted to be a Democrat. I wanted to be with you guys, but you're going to a place that is way, way outside of being a Democrat. It's so far left. It's its own thing. He saw that, so he's like, maybe I could drop out and be an independent. But now he sees that he's going to hinder the vote, and he chose the Republican side to do that. He probably don't fucking like Trump either. But we gotta look past Trump for this election. He's the face of the party. He's going to be a jackass at some times, but he's got some good policy, and I think he's got America, on his mind, and he's wanting to fix us. He's got a God complex. He wants to win. He's like, I want to show Putin. I want to show all of them that, you can't mess with America. So I think that is what makes him the better candidate.
I hope if he does win, he does all those things. I
think he will. I think he will because there's another senator. I forget his name. I think his last name is like Schultz or Swaltz or something like that. But I made Sarah watch his C-SPAN thing he was on where he was talking about taxes and all of the like Social Security and all of that stuff, man. And he was pushing like cutting so many taxes to help the American people because it does not matter. Taxing the American people is pennies into the barrel of what the government is doing and does, right? Like he said that all of the income tax combined coming from the people throughout a year is only like I can't remember. It was pennies, but he was talking about getting rid of all those taxes. And him and Trump, he's cool with Trump now. So Trump is coming up with all these ways to help cut taxes for every American. Like if this no tax on overtime becomes a thing, that's something in place that could be life changing for some people. And it would be only at the federal level. You'd still have to pay whatever state tax you were paying or city tax, I'm sorry. Yeah. But like something like that, like the no tax on tips. I know when he said that, I knew that I was like, man, this is a start. And then coming out with the no tax on overtime, man, that's going to be a game changer. And I think things like that will be implemented. He's talking about bringing in Elon Musk to help. Hold on. Hear me out. He's talking about bringing him in to run infrastructure and do the books pretty much. Have
No.
you heard about, like, we all hear about Chicago, right? You hear about the deficit that new Democratic tough on police mayor has put that city in? $1 billion. $1 billion deficit for Chicago, while he's paying $38,000 for wardrobe and makeup while defunding the police. You have another mayor in Dalton, which is like right outside of Chicago, who has stolen millions of dollars from taxpayers. And they're democratically ran.
I'm not saying that there are not morons on each party.
I'm saying there's more thieves and criminals on the Democrat side. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you're saying that because you're Republican.
But it's also what they're doing. Take out Republican, take out a Democrat. They are servants of people that voted them into office, and they are stealing millions upon millions of dollars from their own people. Not get, in Dalton, Illinois, man, their streets aren't getting paved, trees aren't getting cut. Like, the firefighters don't have a pension. Like, it's crazy. That's criminal, red or blue.
Hey, Elon Musk can fuck right off.
What do you expect? He's a weirdo, right? They call everybody weirdos, but
I don't care. He's a weirdo. Everybody's a weirdo.
He's an eccentric billionaire.
Yeah, we don't need any more of those.
But he's not a politician. And what if he turns it into a fucking, like, I'm telling you, he's going to go through that motherfucker. He's going to set the books right. People going to stop stealing money. That's the biggest thing. We need to stop spending taxpayer money. The government does not make money. We make money. The Democrats need to stop spending our money.
We need a person that, is middle class, that makes $50,000 a year and can't afford groceries to do that.
No, that's the person that's going to rob $2 million from a small city. I'm sorry.
I don't want the guy that invented the Cybertruck in charge.
Hey,
do you like those?
I think they look horrible. Not my cup of tea, but I know some people
drive
like them.
one, but they look disgusting. Every time I see one, I'm like, what is that purchase? But I do want to see what they are like to drive. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, electric vehicles are cool, but there's no way it's going to take over the automotive market. There's no way, but they are really cool.
Yeah, Enterprise does a lot with electric vehicles, but
a buddy of mine's got a electric Ford, I think it is. It's a utility vehicle. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm not against electric vehicles. I don't think that they need to be the only choice, but my dad is like firmly like, if you ever buy an electric vehicle, I'm gonna calm down.
Yeah.
What do you care? Well, yeah.
Oh man. What about the economy? Let's talk about this economy.
Everything sucks.
It sucks, you say?
Everything sucks. No, yeah, the economy. Groceries are absolutely outrageous.
Oh yeah, groceries are high. Gas is getting. It was under $3. That's reasonable to me.
Yeah, it's like $2.80 out here, so that's better at least.
I mean, so yeah, the economy, right? Job market. You make a pretty good living, decent, right? Average maybe for Missouri standards, right? Yeah. Yeah. You got a couple side hustles, right?
Yeah.
Extra revenue streams.
I mean, I don't know if it's a stream. It's more like a little bitty river that's kind of clogged. Yeah.
You got a trickle going on?
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah.
Okay. And I want your honest opinion because I'll give you mine. Like, how hard is the economy for you in your position?
Um, I don't want to say that we are on the verge of losing everything, but I definitely noticed a harder hit for sure. Um, in the last 4 or 5 years than ever before. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm having to budget a lot more fine, concrete and put more in savings, which is not necessarily a bad practice. But I've definitely noticed a higher hit in everything, not just groceries, but healthcare, services, your internet, your water, your electric bill, just everything has risen and your wage has not. So I've definitely noticed a hit, but I don't want to sit here and pretend that I live in a house. I'm not,
you're
I'm not,
good,
I don't want to pretend that I'm, begging for coins, but I'm also not buying everything I see. Does this make any
right?
sense? I definitely
Yeah,
noticed a
yeah, definitely.
difference for sure. There's definitely a
I
difference.
mean, you notice a difference, but you're what I heard is that you're still saving, right? You're budgeting, right?
Yeah.
So in this economy, as bad as it is, you're still able to save money, do your budgeting, maybe even invest. I don't know if you guys do that or not,
I'm not built for
but
investing. No.
but I just think like same here, but my wage has went up a little bit.
That's
Uh,
good.
Sarah, Sarah's wage stayed the same, but you add a commission aspect on there, so her wages did go up. You know, and it's definitely hard. Everything's getting expensive, but I also think with budgeting, you have the opportunity to save money. If you stop spending money, you can put yourself in a better position when it comes to finances. Because like we walked up to Marshall's, man, and it's packed. We go to Target, it's packed. Every place is packed, but everything's so high. So I think this economy is making people buckle down better. Like it's you either lose your shit or you learn ways to better what little you do have, which now take those practices into a better economy, and then that's how you start to build. You know, like I get where you're coming from, but because I'm in the same boat where it's like, I'm not in a house. I'm in a crappy 2-bedroom apartment with a 2-year old. But I put myself there so we can try to save to look forward to getting that house. And if the economy changes with the new presidency, hoping it changes for the better.
Yeah, the housing market was insane after I bought this house, thank God. Well, even during. I mean, the houses were going like crazy. But the mortgage per interest rate skyrocketed within the past couple years, and hopefully whoever wins, um, that definitely decreases because 8 or 9% is absolutely ridiculous on a mortgage. That's
Yeah.
just inconceivable for human beings. Yeah, I mean it. Everything definitely is more expensive.
But I think it's doable, right? Like you got all these people talking about quitting or giving up and just, oh my God, I can't do anything. People got to make better choices, decisions.
Well, I think housing is very hard right now. I think if you're trying to buy a house, it is very difficult. When I was trying to buy one, it was hard even 3 years ago. But you have to make a lot more now than you did to afford
Oh yeah, the housing market. It's almost criminal what's going on.
Yeah.
And then
So
when the housing costs go up, then apartment cost goes up because people are like,
yeah,
oh man, we if they're raising their rates, we can raise our rates. We can get ours filled. But yeah,
yeah,
it's criminal.
yeah. Rent is ridiculous. I mean, I think that alone is having a hit on a lot of people. Just obviously you guys have moved
Yeah,
because of
to
your
save
rent.
to save $200 a month.
Yeah. So I think rent is a big player. I don't think it's just, yes, groceries are higher, but I think housing is really what's people that are looking for a house are getting very upset because they can't afford anything, even though they thought they could. You need a bigger down payment. Interest rates suck, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's really just making people feel defeated, and then they don't want to move into an apartment because they're just renting, but they're renting for what they would almost pay for a house payment.
Right. And then when you stay renting, you're not building any kind of equity or wealth. It's
Yeah.
like stay in an apartment for 5 years that could have went into a house. It's like, man, if only I would have got my shit together a couple years ago.
So I think people are just discouraged by not being able to do what they thought they could do. And yeah, I mean, you could say like, well, suck it up, that's life. But also, I think it's sometimes like enough is enough. I mean, how am I going to get ahead if my wage is not increasing and I can't, everything else is rising, but my wage is not? How am I supposed to get ahead? But without, especially when people have kids like you guys, I don't know how people are affording anything. Like,
It's doable.
well, of course,
It's
I mean,
doable.
luckily both of you guys have a dual income household. You're both employed. You know.
I mean, that's the 2024 traditional marriage, especially for the middle class. There is no man at work, wife at home. You both need
Oh
to
yeah.
work and bring in income. I wish I could afford for my wife not to work. Hell, I know she wishes that I could afford for her not to work. you know,
Yeah, there's no possible way that you can just. Well, there's a possible way, I guess, if you're like make $150,000 a year, but that you can have a one income household.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't. And like childcare costs are gotta be skyrocketed. I don't know because I don't have any children, but
They are. They're expensive, but they're expensive.
yeah,
They I don't know if you voted in the last election that we had for the what was that, the primary or whatever.
yeah.
But they had a proposition on there to get rid of property tax for people, small business people that ran daycares out of like a residential,
Hmm.
like out of their home or something like that. They had something on the bill to get rid of their property tax to help save them some money.
Yeah, why do we even need a vote on that? I mean,
Because then you start having things where it's like
who's
if you
gonna be
if you
like,
cut
no,
their property tax, you got to cut my property tax, right? Like, why do they get theirs cut and I don't get mine cut?
because they're a
You know?
business and they're a daycare.
Oh,
You're not a daycare.
right, but they live in their business. It's their house.
Who cares?
I'm just saying, like I voted for it. I voted for it.
No, I know.
I'm
You're just
voting.
being,
I'm voting
yeah.
anything that says cut taxes, cutting it, cutting it, cutting it. Like, I didn't really pay too much about the Republican senator for Missouri, but I looked into him and he's talking about cutting government spending. Got my vote.
Yeah.
you know,
What was that?
oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think people are just exhausted of having to pay for things that cost a ton. They're not getting a raise. Some people are out of work. The job like market is odd. Like people are saying they're hiring, but they're not really hiring. The human resources people are like 20, 25 years old and nobody knows what's going on. I My dad was just going through a whole bunch of interviews and he's like, people like didn't even know that I was coming in. They forgot. They're not really hiring, but their post is still up there.
I mean, what are these places with the 25-year-old HR person? Are we talking like Chick-fil-A or something?
No, like some kind of factory, and then there was another like office setting position, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem like some businesses are
Man.
keeping up with their online presence,
Yeah, they might
their
not be
job
keeping up
opening.
with their online presence, but man, every place is hiring. I mean, they got signs up. If I'm not talking digital or online, you go by, everybody's got a sign in the window. Everybody's hiring. Not as many people want to work right now, and the ones you do see want to work are now trying to get jobs because hey, the holidays are around the corner, right? Like my facility, we have had a jump in applications being filled out like in person.
Mhm. Yeah.
They are looking for a couple of positions online, but that's not here, neither here nor there. But for the production workers, packers, warehouse people are showing up, and like uh, this time of year, my company has been hiring a lot of people, and I think it does just depend on the job. And then you said that was your dad.
Mhm.
What kind of production job? Because your dad's pretty old, right?
Yeah, he's 60 now. Yep.
I mean, he might be able to
60.
find an assembly line job or something like that.
He found one finally. He's working in Cedar
Oh,
Hill, but
hey, but see, he got out. He found one. He got one. People are hiring.
well, yeah, they are. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I think people are it gets a little bit old after a while, This is why I don't watch the news. Like just seeing the same old stuff, like everything's expensive. There's been another killing. Like it's just I think people are just getting tired and they're looking for somebody to take a little bit of weight off their shoulders and also contr- I don't want to say control, but like just minimize the shittiness in this country.
and I
Like
think that the Republicans will do that for all Americans.
I'm not saying the Democrats are gonna do it. People talk that they're gonna do everything and nobody does shit. So, but if this is my only choice. I'm not a Kamala Harris lover. I think she bleepy blah 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 is a lot and doesn't know what the hell she's saying half the time. But if these are my only two options, and they are, I'm voting for her. Even if I vote, I may not even vote. I have made my mind. So,
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, if I like to get people to think about like the conservative or the liberal, right? The Republican, the Democrat, because like if Trump wasn't there, I think Sarah would maybe swayed easier. Not saying she can be swayed. She's very strong in her convictions, but I think that her disdain for Donald Trump, you know, weighs onto that. And I think it's like that with a lot of people.
yeah, I think
Like a
so.
lot of people don't. I was just talking to another buddy of mine, full conservative, his entire life, his family, everything. He said he would have rather it been what was her name? Chelsea Gabbard, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said he would have rather it been her than Trump. You got to look at the party, not the person. You got to look at the country, not the individual.
Yeah, but then why are we having an elect? I mean, if we're not looking at the individual, why are we having an election? Like,
Because
why are we
we,
having a
we
debate if we're not looking at the individual?
oh, I'm not talking about the candidates. I'm talking about the individual Americans.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's,
I
there,
wish more
there,
people would, because sometimes I feel like we're more divided than we ever have been as a country, like Republican versus Democrat, like we're in a boxing ring. But I also think the media plays a big part in that. So, are we really? I don't know. Do I think that there are people that are going to vote for Trump or vote Republican no matter who's up there? Absolutely. It's the same with Democrat. People are loyal to their party, and I wish it was not so much that way. I wish it was more of whose policies do you agree with, and who do you think is going to be the best for our country? And if we differ on that, then so be it. But not, just to say, well, he's the Republican, so I'll vote for him. Like that, I feel like that's not helpful.
Yeah, like if you're just voting Republican because that's what your husband or wife or parents or someone else told you to vote for, yeah, that's idiotic. Idiotic. If you're going to vote for whichever political views mean most to you or which one you see yourself as,
Yeah.
and then vote from there. Like we're not all going to have the same thoughts and think the same person or party is going to be the best, but
Right.
you know, is what it is.
Is what it is. That would be. I feel like if I was running for president, that would be my slogan.
But like this is an unpopular opinion, and not saying we need anything bad to happen, but this country needs like another 9/11, right? We need something that happens so bad that it brings everyone together, almost like in the movie The Watchmen, right? They had to blow up that city for everyone to think that Mr. Manhattan was a bad guy, for everyone to get together and turn on him. So we need something to happen.
I
I don't
mean, I
want
don't
anything
want
to happen.
that. Yeah. I I w- that's another reason why Trump kind of gets under my skin is I feel like he's not great at bringing people together. I I don't get that from him. I don't feel the
But that's
unity
what we had under him.
when he
Like
speaks.
everyone says that he's going to make the country a laughing stock. No, he had the respect of those people. Like those people in charge, he had their respect, and he
How do we
used
know?
America as his backbone. That's what we need.
How do we know he had their respect? We don't know shit. He says he
Well,
did, but do we know?
we do know that Donald Trump taxed or put a lot of tariff on all those foreign things being imported that made them spend a lot more money getting into the country, and that the Democrats kept those tariffs up to keep that revenue coming in. So I mean, we do know that he made them pay a little more to deal with us.
I guess.
I guess.
I didn't see any of that in my pocket, but no, it's fine.
Well, we don't see any of the deficit in our pocket, right?
I know.
34 trillion in debt. Shit.
That's it?
I ain't got
Oh,
that much debt. I, ain't-
yeah. I
I
feel
ain't
better
got that
about
much debt. What you talking about? That's on all of us, right? We sharing that.
oh, yeah, that's true. I do wish he had more of a healthcare plan. I feel like there's not anything happening with that.
Look it up. Actually, since you just mentioned that, look it up. Sarah and I, we looked it up, compared the two. Barely any difference.
Oh,
There
well,
there
good.
was one difference between what Trump's wanting to get going versus the Affordable Care Act. And I mean, that's, to me, either one of them's okay. Yeah, Affordable Care Act, whatever, Trump's plan, whatever. But the whole thing with trying to just get rid of privatized healthcare in general, like, no, if I can afford or pay for my own insurance, I'm going to do that instead of you know waiting in a lobby with a bunch of fucking people not getting seen.
Yeah.
It'd be like Beetlejuice, right? Ticket be that fucking long.
Did you guys see the second one yet?
Oh, I didn't even know it was out yet.
Oh, yeah, it came out like last Friday, I think. I want to watch the first one again first because I haven't seen it in God knows how long.
Yeah, I'll see it once it hits a streaming service.
Did you like Deadpool? Not to switch topics completely.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. People were telling me the best superhero movie of all time. It was pretty good, but I'd put it in top three, but I wouldn't say best overall.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think
nothing's
Sarah
going
said
to
it was
beat
good, but not fantastic or something.
nothing's going to beat Captain America: Winter Soldier for me.
Yeah, that is your favorite. Hence the. shield in the
Hey
background.
man, but him holding on and hulking that helicopter while he was trying to take off, man, it was, come on. People was like, damn, we ain't no
Brought a
cat
tear to
got
my
down
eye.
like that. Yeah, I got a little chubbed up, to be honest.
Gross. Anyway, well, we've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes. So
Oh wow.
I know it goes by fast. Time flies when you're
Yeah, I
not
only
doing
had one
anything.
pee break.
I'm gonna make some dinner, even though it's 4:00.
Okay.
And see what's going on
Good
with the
thing
dogs.
I cooked 4 steaks before I got on here.
Yeah, there you go. I don't have any. Oh, we do have 2 in the freezer. Yeah, we do. Well, I appreciate you coming on with me. I'm sorry Brittany's not here. But I'm glad that we could have a civil discussion and not, that we can have
Oh
different
yeah,
opinions.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
I hate, when I try to talk to somebody, which is not very many people, they're like, well, you're just an idiot. Well, okay, thank you. Like, that's your argument? Okay, great.
Yeah, some people are just crazy. You got to hear both sides. Make your decision.
Yeah, and if you're listening, vote whoever you want to vote for. We don't give a shit. No, it's
Just
Republican,
vote. Just vote.
Democrat,
Even
Independent.
even if you don't want to vote for Harris or Trump or don't care, go down there, look at the ticket, see what kind of bills or laws they're trying to put into place. Make a day of it. Do some day drinking. Most jobs will let you take off to vote or leave early to vote. So take advantage of that, but just vote.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. Wake up, have some have some breakfast.
Oh, well, you
Start
work
feeling
from
great, and then
home.
go
So yeah.
yeah. Ugh.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna close my eyes and start filling in circles and see what happens.
abracadabra all the way down.
Yeah. A B B A B A B. I like to make a pattern.
Yeah.
Just like in school. But yeah, thank you so much for chatting with me. I'll be happy to do another episode with you if you want. You can come on whenever you like because it's digital.
Thanks for the invite. I
Of
appreciate it.
course. If you want to do I know we don't have that big of an audience, but if you if you want to do a sobriety episode, we can definitely look into that if you want. And because I do have questions for you, and I'm sure Brittany will, and I'm sure we can
Okay.
get some from other people too. So,
Yeah. Let me know.
yeah, if you want to do one, let me know.
Let
But
me
I will
know.
see you next time.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye, friend.
Hail Satan.
Yeah. Rip.
Yeah.